Tonight on Cougar News, police are investigating the dumping of a dead body found near Castaic Lake.
Also, first-year students will now be able to receive free tuition.
And we see how Santa Clarita is getting into the Halloween spirit. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Francesca Ward.
And I'm Leah Rosil, and here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. Sheriff's investigators are looking for clues into how a man was stabbed to death and left on a desolate Castaic road. 31-year-old Tron Mayo was discovered Monday afternoon near Ridge Route Road. Emergency crews initially believed Mayo suffered from cardiac arrest. After finding stab wounds, the Inglewood resident's death was labeled a homicide.
Upon their arrival, they located a male black adult who has sustained suspicious injuries to his upper torso. Based on his injuries, we are treating it as a homicide at this time.
With weather now peaking in the triple digits and the constant dry winds, Santa Clarita is more vulnerable for brush fires than ever. Yesterday, firefighters fought the Castaic fire. Reporter Georgia Rios brings us more.
Yesterday afternoon, LA County Fire responded to a brush fire on the 3200 block of Castaic Lake Drive. Approximately 115 firefighters responded to the nearly 1 acre fire, burning down a hillside. The engines were accompanied by 2 super scoopers and 3 helicopters, which helped attribute to the quick knockdown of the fire within an hour. The fire was contained and only burned around 3 acres with no damage to any structures or any injuries.
First-year students are now offered free tuition to any community college in California. How does this impact taxpayers and students? Our own Louis Tran sheds more light on the impact.
A free year of tuition to all community colleges in California. Governor Jerry Brown recently signed a new law that allows full-time students to obtain their first year of education for free. Students, faculty, and staff strongly support this idea. However, they just wish it came sooner.
We've been talking about a free college education at the community college level for years now.
The new Assembly Bill 19 waives the first year of fees for any students who enroll full-time into a community college. Full-time is considered a class load of at least 12 units per semester, of which students are able to take more.
If you're in 12 units and you meet certain criteria, then we'll pay for your first year of education.
However, books, school supplies, and parking are not covered. Here at COC, tuition for a full class load can cost up to $1,100. It is estimated under the new law it will cost the state about $31 million a year. However, those who are in favor believe this investment will provide students a greater sense of social support.
Since the state is investing in the students then need to invest back. And that means getting good grades, finishing your units, getting those degrees, because that's what's going to lead to the good jobs and put that money right back into the economy.
Many believe this will create more opportunities in the long term for students to give back to their communities.
Well, if they had their first year with free tuition and they saw what benefits they could have from their first year, they'd be willing to go on to further years and, maybe even transfer and get a higher education.
There are approximately over 23,000 students currently enrolled into COC. With the new law in place, the college expects this number to increase and will create a college-going culture within the communities.
They won't have to skimp back on books or maybe only take half time because they will have already saved a year of college of not paying so that they could put that towards the future.
The new college tuition waiver could possibly go into effect as early as the 2019 academic school year. However, school funding and budgets must be first finalized and approved. Reporting from Cougar News, this is Louis Tran.
Carlos, you want to tell us a little bit about what's trending?
Sure. Despite the fact that we are nearing the end of October, Southern California continues to experience record-breaking temperatures. Downtown Los Angeles reached a new height of 103 and Escondido hit 104. The heat, combined with the lack of humidity, led to several small brush fires, resulting in temporary lane closures on the 210 and 118 freeways. A group known as the Bloodstained Men passed through Santa Clarita, taking their voice to the streets. Members, both men and women, stood on the corner of McBean Parkway and Valencia Boulevard speaking their mind on infant circumcision. Their campaign is traveling to over 19 Southern California cities to inform and speak up against male circumcision. Facebook community groups flooded with comments and photos from residents, some frustrated and some in favor of the protest. The bloodstained men carried on throughout the day expressing their freedom of speech.
We're going to keep doing what we're doing for as long as it takes to stop the circumcising of boys in our hospitals.
Antoine Fats Domino, the legendary New Orleans-based singer and pianist of the 50s and 60s, has died. At the height of his career, the music icon regularly topped the charts, sold millions of singles, and composed almost 24 gold records. He was surpassed only by Elvis Presley at the time, and was even acknowledged as a rock and roll trailblazer by the king himself. Presley was quoted as saying, "Let's face it, I can't sing like Fats Domino can." Domino passed away at 89 years old. And that's what's trending. I'm Carlos Lara. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you. Congressman Steve Knight visited College of the Canyons recently to speak with students on a wide variety of issues. The discussion was diverse, tackling topics such as homelessness, domestic violence, and mental health. He addressed Professor Beauregard Vasquez's English 103 classes to assist with their community-based civic engagement projects. He also visited Vasquez's Hub Club meeting to discuss leadership and various pieces of legislation he had worked on. The meetings were not publicized beforehand, but the turnout was sizable.
With the deadline for DACA renewals approaching, a group of students and faculty at COC invited the community to lobby Congress for action. Reporter Carlos Lara has the story.
Students, parents, and faculty alike convened in Mentory Room 351 to write letters, make phone calls, and send electronic postcards advocating for a Clean Dream Act, one which would offer permanent protections to so-called dreamers and potentially a path to citizenship.
Clean DACA Act is something that's not temporary, that we have to do again. It's not like a patch. It would be something that would last and become law. And we can take care of these dreamers who who know no country except the United States.
The Faculty Association and the ASG coordinated this event to encourage political engagement, while at the same time making the important distinction between actual advocacy and armchair activism.
We're coming together to do real action. There's a lot of people, especially in this generation with millennials, they're called armchair activists. A lot of the times there's people that go on social media and do hashtags and post statuses, but they don't do real work. We're here to encourage the faculty and students to write letters, to call their representatives, because real action will make a difference, not just, the internet.
For Cougar News, I'm Carlos Lara.
Coming up next on Cougar News, COC's Canyon Country campus is turning 10.
And a local woman continues to shine on NBC's The Voice. Stay tuned.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Yeah, everyone seems to be pretty friendly with each other. No one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually, listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
You're watching Cougar News.
Welcome back. Many students just want to unwind after a long day of class, but with the recent closing of the ASG Game Room at COC, that just became a little harder. Jed Bookout has the scoop.
Students looking to unwind from a busy study schedule in the ASG Game Room may be disheartened to discover that the room has been closed indefinitely. After a recent audit of the school, it was found that College of the Canyons did not actually have the permits in place to host a full-scale arcade-style room.
The county tax inspector came by, and because there are more than 4 games operating, we need a business license. And COC is a nonprofit, so we can have a business license, so we either need to have less than 4 games, or we have to shut it down completely.
The room has been on site at College of the Canyons for 20 years, though the closing may not come as a shock to many students. Most, in fact, didn't care whether the game room were open or not.
I'd never really used the game room. I'd seen it walking by, but I'm just not a big arcade gamer, so to me, pumping a quarter into a machine wasn't really a big win.
The existence of an arcade on campus was a huge draw for many other students.
And I know for me, and when I bring people from around the area or from out of country even, they're really excited to see that it's there and that it exists. But I had met someone for the first time, and they said, like, hey, you want to go play Guitar Hero in there? And we ended up being in there for like 2 hours, just messing around, screwing around, and I ended up being really good friends with them.
Whether the room stays open or not will inevitably be at the discretion of the Associated Student Government, who are actively seeking word from students on whether the game room should stay open or become a room for meditation. For the time being, though, College of the Canyons aren't playing games. For Cougar News, I'm Jed Bookout.
The COC Canyon Country Campus is officially 10 years old this month. A celebration was appropriate for this special time in COC's history. Let's take a look. The COC Canyon Country Campus celebrated its 10th anniversary this month with an open house. People of Santa Clarita came together for music, food, and lots of information on what the Canyon Country Campus has to offer.
It's our 10th anniversary of COC's presence on the east side of town. To celebrate that, we thought, you know what, let's have an open house. Let's bring the community onto campus. Let's showcase all the things we do inside, outside the classroom, have a party, have food trucks, have activities.
Different clubs and programs set up booths and workshops throughout the campus to give people the opportunity to learn more about what it has to offer. The Makerspace program set up laser and 3D printers for possible and current COC students to use and learn about.
Makerspace is an open lab for students, faculty, and staff to come in and collaborate with students, faculty, and use equipment that they don't have available to them.
Growing up with technology has helped the students coming into programs similar to Makerspace and other STEM programs learn more quickly and efficiently.
Now they're learning, and they're better than me, and they know how to do more things on these 3D printers than I do, and I'm like, okay.
The Canyon Country Campus has done well and continues to meet its goals. For more information on COC events, go to canyons.edu.
Many Santa Clarita Valley residents were affected by the recent Las Vegas shooting. A few musicians held a fundraiser to help benefit the victims. Kimberly Perez has more.
A group of local high school musicians held a benefit concert to help raise funds for victims affected by the recent Las Vegas shooting.
When you realize something's happened and you want to figure out, man, what can I do or what can the community do to help these people out? And then I thought, put 2 and 2 together. We're already doing a show, might as well, make something beautiful out of it.
It's definitely a worthy cause because we're here to support people that went through something that I don't think anyone should have to go through. So I think it's important to show them that they're not alone and we're willing to help them out.
A concert seemed a fitting way to honor those whose lives were touched by the tragedy.
I think music always brings people together, so I think it was a good way for us to interact with each other and kind of get closer together.
More than a dozen Santa Clarita residents were in attendance at the Route 91 Harvest Festival on October 1st. Despite its somber nature, the audience even managed to share a few laughs.
Oh, you can hear me breathing. That's so hard. Okay.
Perhaps a sign of the healing power of music. For Cougar News, I'm Kimberly Perez.
Audrey, want to give us the scoop on entertainment?
Of course. Karli Webster, a local resident, is on her way to the knockout rounds on NBC's The Voice. Her friends, family, and fans watched with her as she competed in her battle round. Cougar News reporter Michelle Lutz was there. Let's take a look.
This battle is
Dozens came out to Vincenzo's in Newhall to support a local woman climbing her way to the top on NBC's The Voice.
It's so amazing to have just the whole community come together to support me in this huge journey, because I don't think I could do it alone.
Karli Webster is singing her heart out with the support of friends, family, and fans. She spent the night signing autographs and sharing her experience with the crowd.
I didn't know that many people were so supportive, but that was crazy. There were people here that I'd never met before.
Karli went up against teammate and friend Addison Agan, a 16-year-old who is now on Team Adam.
We were so even when it came to our talent that it was all going to come down to just the style that she wanted in an artist. It took a lot of hard work, but it all worked out the way we wanted.
Their rendition of Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Wanna Have Fun is climbing the iTunes pop charts and is currently at number 17. Continue to watch The Voice and support your hometown girl as she heads into the knockout rounds. For Cougar News, I'm Michelle Lutz.
Team Miley, let's go!
Get groovy with Karli and the band Lexington on Friday at 7 p.m. at Wolf Creek Brewery. This will be Karli's first full-on concert, so head on out and support her and the band. Tickets are on sale now at eventbrite.com. The Main, an art center in Newhall, showcases different exhibits every couple weeks. The artist of the exhibit visits the gallery for a meet and greet. We caught up with Phobic, who is the current artist displaying his artwork.
Phobic God is the exhibit on display at the Main in Newhall. Creator Phobic made a guest appearance, giving insight into how his passion for art turned into a career.
Well, this guy's story, the Phobic God guy, is just a story that I wanted to interpret in an over-exaggeration from life experiences that I've had. When I do my illustration work, it definitely has a story. But then I have also design work, sort of interior design-ish, contemporary abstract work where I involve my monocle, the little devil head that I have, where I do the outline, I do some abstract with it and everything, and that's left for interpretation. That's more of a design, colorful aspect for people to just look at and enjoy the colors or enjoy the detail in I wouldn't say skill, but what I'm demonstrating with the shapes.
A certain piece seemed to be catching people's attention.
And she takes a more anti-hero approach. So she's definitely it was definitely on purpose to show a badass chick just on top, And yeah, it wasn't on purpose that they were both men or guys or whatever. It was just her. It was about her and showing that's why it's called Upgrade, because she's also here on the pink.
You can catch more of Phobic's artwork in the Hollywood and downtown area. For Cougar News, I'm Ashley Bautista.
Fright and terror are haunting the Santa Clarita Valley, and a non-profit haunted house is giving to the community by keeping the Halloween spirit alive. Jaylene Aguilara has more.
Run, run, run! Time to be disemboweled!
Come to the dark room. Enter if you dare.
Beware the Dark Realm, a fun scare walkthrough where Santa Clarita residents can come for some good scares this Halloween season.
I warned you!
You can feel the presence of evil once you step into the doors of the medieval castle and encounter the terror that is lying beneath the dark realm.
Oh, it's a kingdom run by a mad queen. King, the King, K-I-N-G, from Beware the Dark Realm. We've been doing haunts since the 70s in our family, so haunting is a very old tradition that goes back long, long ago. Bow to your queen! Bow to your queen!
Reporting from the Dark Realm, I'm Jaylene Aguilera.
The Dark Realm will be open on the 27th and 28th from the hours of 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at 2861 Sugar Pine Way. The local music scene is evolving around Santa Clarita. Howie's Pub is one of a few venues in the valley to host local bands. Here's Leah Rosel with more.
Howie's Pub, located in Castaic, California, has become one of the few venues in the Santa Clarita Valley for local musicians to perform. Local band Odd Hours are hosting this event to promote local talent and bring music lovers together. Howie's Pub has been known for having a friendly atmosphere and great music to listen to almost every weekend.
Howie's is super cool because they just, like any band that you want to have play there, they're allowed to play.
Bands like Odd Hours, Good Whales, and Fierce Brosnan are all examples of an influential art scene within the valley.
Well, if you don't have a local music scene, then you're kind of like a ghost town. Nobody's gonna get anywhere. No band is gonna make it in any way if you don't have a local music scene, because then who's gonna book them?
As more artists begin to emerge from Santa Clarita, the local music scene is earning more recognition, creating an artistic outlet to all. Reporting from Cougar News, I'm Leah Rossell.
And that's it for entertainment. Back to you, Francesca.
The Samuel Dixon Family Health Center continues to provide primary health care services to meet the growing need of affordable and accessible health care. They hosted the Rubber Duckie Festival in Santa Clarita, their only fundraiser of the year. Sam Delgado has more on the story.
The 15th annual Rubber Duckie Festival returned to Santa Clarita. All proceeds from the festival went to the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center to fund patient visits for the uninsured and those who have minimal financial resources. Over 5,000 rubber duckies entered the race, and each individual duck was available for adoption.
And by adopting a duck, you get two real benefits. One, you help those in need. Every duck you adopt translates to additional health care services for those in need. And you have a chance to win the grand prize of $2,500 if your duck happens to be the duck that wins the main event.
In addition to the rubber ducky race, the event also included a stage that was filled with local talent and performers. Festivities included a rock climbing wall, a bounce house, balloon artists, and many other activities. It had a variety of vendors and nonprofit community partners.
This is actually our biggest this year because we have over 40 vendors. The previous years we've had 30, right around there. But as every year comes by that it happens here at Bridgeport Park, which is really in the hub of the middle of Santa Clarita, the word gets out, people know about us. A lot of kids keep coming back because they enjoy the ducks that we give out.
As the demand for affordable and accessible healthcare services continues to rise, the Samuel Dixon Family Healthcare Center continues to provide primary healthcare services to meet this growing need. With this being their only fundraiser of the year, they made sure to make it a fun one. The annual Rubber Duckie Festival will continue again next year right here at Bridgeport Park. With Cougar News, I'm Sam Delgado.
Coming up next on Cougar News, COC's football team goes head-to-head with Moore Park.
And a resident is all decked out for Halloween. Stay tuned.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
College of the Canyons creates possibilities.
It's a gateway to opportunities.
A place where students learn they can believe in themselves.
Behind every possibility at College of the Canyons are the people.
Together we focus on achieving success, one student at a time.
That focus is a reflection of what we value.
It defines who we are.
We are. We are.
We are College of the Canyons.
You're watching Cougar News.
Welcome back. Domestic violence affects nearly 20 people per minute in the United States alone. To raise awareness of this troubling issue, the Domestic Violence Center of Santa Clarita held its 6th annual Purple Walk of Strength. Sam Jostin has more.
The Santa Clarita Domestic Violence Center's annual Purple Walk of Strength was held on Saturday at COC. Participants of all ages and species walked and ran in the 5K race to raise awareness for domestic violence.
It helps them come out of the shadows a little bit and get help, because being a victim of domestic violence, it's a hard thing to stop.
The walk is held every October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Runners were showered in purple powder at every mile, while some volunteers came, well, already dressed for the occasion. Local businesses also came out to support the event, providing swag bags, food, and more. Though the atmosphere couldn't have been more festive, it seems no one forgot the importance of the movement to end domestic violence.
1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence. 1 in 6 men will experience it. Children are affected by it. So when you're out there walking, you're walking by people who have experienced the situation, and you don't even know it because it happens to everybody.
All proceeds from the walk benefit programs at the Domestic Violence Center, such as support groups, counseling, and shelter costs. This was the Purple Walk's 6th year, and they are planning to hold more for years to come. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Sam Joseph.
George, want to give us a look at sports?
Yeah, the Cougars look back to get to their winning ways when they faced Moore Park College last Saturday. Cougar News reporter Zach Ferber took us to the sidelines.
The COC Cougars returned home to face Moore Park College last Saturday in hopes to win their first conference game. After the Cougars jumped out to an early 7-0 lead, Andrew Brito airs it out to Deshaun Holmes for a big 28-yard pickup, which would pin him at the 1. Brito would eventually find R.B. Marlowe to put the Cougars up 14-0. The damage wasn't done yet. Brito hands the ball off to Keelan White, who sweeps his way to the left and would eventually take it 59 yards to the house, giving COC a 20-7 lead. The Cougars offense opened the floodgates towards the end of the second quarter as Andrew Brito finds Brandon Pierce with a 40-yard dime that would give COC a 26-7 lead. To put the nail in the coffin, Andrew Brito finds Deshaun Holmes for a 15-yard touchdown. The Cougars would eventually go on to win 40-16 over Moore Park College.
When we came out, I preached to our guys, asked my guys to step up to the challenge and be relentless the whole game, 4 quarters. We challenged everybody just to fly around, have fun.
We knew that last week that wasn't us. We were a much better team than what we showed last week. And this week we just prepared. We practiced every day like we were facing #1 team in the country, and we came out and we did our business.
The Cougars will face Cerrito College next week in Western Conference State play, with game time at 6 p.m. For Cougar News, I'm Zach Ferber.
Talk about a dynasty. Coming into last Friday night's contest, Valencia had rattled off 29 straight Foothill League wins. With number 30 come against Saugus, Tanner Nava has the answer.
With the postseason less than a month away and their playoff spot locked up, the Valencia High School Vikings were still motivated to try and make school history. The Vikings looked to stay perfect in league play when they took on the Saugus Centurions at COC on Friday. Wide receiver Mikkel Wright put points on the board first when he took a handoff from quarterback Connor Downs to go 90 yards for the touchdown. Wright would go on to finish the game with 146 yards on 3 carries to go along with 2 touchdowns. Javon Wilson would extend the lead to 12-0 with a 12-yard touchdown carry in the second quarter. Mikkel Wright showed off his defensive skills when he intercepted a pass in the end zone off Saugus quarterback Elijah Gragas. After fumbling the snap, quarterback Connor Downs would save the play when he found Zachary Semko for a 19-yard touchdown in the second quarter. Wilson would add more points on the board with a 2-point conversion to put the Vikings up 36-3. The Vikings would go on to win by a score of 50-3. This win gives the Vikings 30 consecutive league wins dating back to 2011. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Tanner Nava.
Basketball now. Coach Howard Fischer has been on the bench with the Cougars for over 17 seasons. He has helped COC win a total of 4 Western State Conference championships. So what is the secret to his success? Cougar News reporter Zach Ferber tells us more.
Coach Howard Fischer has been with the COC men's basketball program for over 17 seasons and has won 4 state titles along the way. His drive to make his players better athletes and students has always been a priority for him. Also, a chance to be coaching overseas and learn from high-level coaches has only added to his coaching game.
I'm really excited by this year. I think we have 2 tremendous leaders, Jacob Lilly and Michael Kalu, sophomore returners, first-team all-conference selections. But their leadership, both on and off the floor, their academics are supreme. They work hard in the weight room, on the court as well, and they're tremendous leaders.
Having coached alongside Bruce Pearl and Herb Brown have only bolstered Coach Fischer's coaching mindset.
I think organization is a big part, especially at the Division I and pro levels. Having ideas of what you want done and how to get it done and not settling.
The ability to have the best basketball talent from around the area is key, but also many players are often found outside of the Santa Clarita Valley.
We try to keep the best Santa Clarita kids here at COC, and then in order to supplement the roster, we go to San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles, and this year we have a nice collection of international players.
The COC men's basketball season tips off November 2nd with the Clash at Canyons tournament. For Cougar News, I'm Zach Ferber.
And in other sports news, congratulations to the COC women's volleyball team winning 9 straight matches. The Cougars are ranked 3rd in the most recent state poll. Next up is a trip to West LA this Friday. The Cougars' next home game is a week from tonight against Antelope Valley. Also, the LA Dodgers lost to the Houston Astros in the Game 2 of the World Series. Now the World Series is tied to a game apiece. Game 3 will be Friday in Houston at 5 p.m. Go Dodgers. Back to you guys.
With Halloween approaching, it seems the residents of Santa Clarita may not be as fond of the holiday as they once were. Cougar News reporter James Gend has more.
With Halloween night just under a week away, the residents of Santa Clarita Valley are patiently awaiting the return of the annual trick-or-treaters and the spooks and scares they bring alongside them. Some folks begun to prepare as early as October 1st, setting their yards and porches to celebrate the yearly tradition. As I peered around the communities of Castaic and Stevenson Ranch, something, however, did feel out of place. For every 10 houses I passed, I would be lucky if I saw even one decorative one. Compared to past years, the Halloween spirit seems substantially weaker this time around. Curious of this, I reached out to one Stevenson Ranch local, Katie DeZimone, and asked her opinion on the matter.
People don't decorate in Santa Clarita anymore for Halloween because they don't have the income to do so. If they decorate, that means trick-or-treaters are going to come over and want candy, and they don't have any candy to give.
Still puzzled by the lack of spirit throughout the valley, I visited several retail stores like Walmart, Toys R Us, and Party City to see how the holiday is affecting their sales. I noticed that some of these retail establishments have already begun to push Christmas merchandise rapidly, covering all the ghosts, pumpkins, and costumes. And so I returned to Mrs. DeZimone, one of the few determined decorators left in the area, and asked her why she specifically celebrates the holiday.
I decorate for Halloween because I love creepy things. I love to scare people. I love to have parties where people walk in and say, "Wow, that's really disgusting."
It is not to say that the spirit is dead, however. The spirit is still kicking, what with there being haunted houses everywhere, from the sheriff's station to local schools and even Lombardi Ranch. It's an odd year for the haunting hour, no doubt, but the spirit is still very much alive in the details. This was James Gend for Cougar News.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Leah Rosil. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Francesca Ward. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle @COC_Cougar News and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Have a good night, everybody.